Hey guys, Eli here, and on today's video I want to talk about why the majority of Americans are broke. Now this may be the most important video you ever watch, so make sure you watch to the end. So we all know the majority of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and if an emergency comes, they don't even have nothing to cover it. So in this video I want to talk about why, and believe it or not, the answer is very simple, and what can we do about it? And let's start now. So if this is your first time on this channel and you guys like to talk about personal finances and mindset, make sure you guys start now by hitting the subscribe button, leaving a thumbs up, and also comment down your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, if you guys want a free stock on Robinhood or some books I believe you guys should read, or if you guys want to know what kind of accessories that I use when I'm making my production videos, check down the description below. So why is the majority of Americans broke? I mean, to be honest with you, the answer is simple. You ready for it? Come here, get closer. I mean, come on, get a little bit closer. The answer is, we have a spending problem. Yes, the average American may make about $35,000 a year, but that really doesn't matter if they spend $45,000 a year. And that is the most simple answer that I can give to you today. If you make $1 each and every month and your expenses is just a penny, then you're rich. I mean, come on, you can live off $1. But if you make $1 and your expenses is $2, then you're broke. All right, so now that we got the answer, what is it that we can do about it? And to be honest with you, I believe it's not more of a, yeah, you can get a bigger income, but at the same time, it's the mentality, it's the habit that you have, it's the habit that you created thus far that got you where you are right now. So as long as nothing changes, nothing changes. Even if you get a higher job, what my mentor calls that is being broke at a higher level. If you make more money, now your habits are gonna have to align with that, since now, hey, I got more money, now I can add more stuff, okay? I make more money, now I can buy more coffee. I make more money, now I can get that TV. I make more money, now I can afford that car payment. So even if you make $1,000 raise, your habit, your mindset is gonna have to adjust because you haven't changed anything, mentally of course. So I believe it's a mental balance, it's a mental work. Now, I'm gonna give you guys a very simple way of how to look at it. Instead of just looking at yourself as just one person that makes money, you have to look at yourself as a company. You have to be the CEO of You, Inc. All right, Eli, I was all in until you said that. Let's really think about it. At the end of the day, what does a company want? They want to make more profit so investors can be like, oh, look, this company's profitable. I want to invest some money into it so they can make more money so they can grow their business. Yeah, but Eli, nobody's going to invest in me. I'm not a company. Well, I thought you might say that. Let's really think about this even more. Do you ever plan on buying a house? Well, yeah. Do you plan on buying that house cash, or do you plan on borrowing that money? Well, of course I'm gonna have to borrow it. I can't come up with that kind of cash. So what you're saying is you want a lender to invest in you so you can buy that house, correct? Well, yeah. Oh, I see where you're going with this. Good. Now that I got your attention, if you want to borrow money, if you want to finance a car, if you want to finance a house, you want people to invest in you. The same way companies want people to invest in them. But let's be honest. If you are well-rounded into the stock market, you typically know you're not going to invest into a company if their revenues are going down, if they're not profitable, or you don't see any sort of future in that company, right? So you want to check their balance sheet. You want to see how they make their money. You want to know everything about the company like as if you run it yourself. You want to make sure they have cash on hand. You want to make sure to see, hey, let's see what their short-term investments are. What are their long-term investment? What is their PE ratio? You want to know all the nooks and crannies of that company before you buy. And if you don't want to know, then typically you're just gambling in the company. Well, believe it or not, they do the same thing. If you go to a creditor, if you go to the bank and say, hey, listen, I need some money, they're going to look at you. All right, let me check your credit history. Let me see how much debt you have. Let me see your assets. All right, you own a mortgage. All right, cool. How much you paying on that? All right, let's see this. Before they invest in you, it's the same thing. But if we have the mindset of, hey, listen, let me see myself as a company and do what a company do to evaluate itself, then maybe, just maybe, you may have a chance because now you switch the mindset. Instead of saying, hey, you know what, let me use that credit card to buy Nike and to buy shoes and clothes and stuff I really don't need and really has no financial benefit to my future, you may just say, hey, you know what, I'm my own company. How does this make my company do better in the long term? All right, I don't need Nike shoes. Matter of fact, hey, let me just buy a house because in the future, the house may appreciate. So when I say view yourself like a company, here's what I mean by that. Apple, at the time of this recording it, is one of the largest company in the world today, over $2 trillion market cap. If you look and study Apple's balance sheet, you'll see that they're loaded with cash, they are loaded with investment, short-term and long-term, and you can see their short-term and long-term debt as well, and you see that their cash overwhelms their long-term debt. So they have more cash than they do debt. Good, now that's Apple. Now let's take a look at you. How much cash do you have on hand? How much cash in investment, short-term or long-term, do you have on hand? How much debt do you have on hand? And do your debt outweighs the cash that you have? Okay, now let's say you do have debt. Is it good debt or bad debt? Is that debt tied in with the mortgage, or is that debt tied in credit card stuff that you just bought a whole bunch of? Maybe you bought the PlayStation 5, or maybe you bought the Xbox 350, whatever it is. I know it's 60, I just said 50. Whatever it may be, is it good debt or bad debt? When you really take a look at a company like Apple, you have to ask yourself, hey, every 3 months they have something called earnings call where they say, hey, this is what I did last 3 months. This is the amount of money I brought in. This is the amount of debt we paid. This is the amount of revenue we had. And for the next 3 months, this is what we project to have. This is our guidance. Do you, as You Inc., do the same thing? All right, hey, the last 3 months, this is how much money I brought in, whether it be through a job or whatever it may be. This is how much money I brought in. This is how much money I invested. And the next 3 months, this is where I project. Listen to me, guys. I've been doing this for the past 3 months, and I see my money, my wealth grow exponentially. Hold on, give me one moment here. Exponentially. You know how when you say a word so many times, it sounds weird? Exponentious. I've seen my wealth grown tenfold. That's a better word. Let's stick with that one. Yeah, guys. Let's cut out that mistake I did last time and just keep that one. I'm always looking 3 months ahead. Hey, what can I invest in? Hey, what am I projecting to bring in? What is my wife's business projected to bring in? All right, what did we do past 3 months? And how can we further it along? Now, when a company's balance sheet is right, one of the things I look for in a company is, hey, if there's a recession that's coming or that came, like a pandemic, who knows, do this company have enough to survive? Within the past 6 months, there's been tons and tons of companies who had to get more debt just so they can keep their business running. And there's some companies that actually had to file for bankruptcy left and right. But there's some companies out there that had a huge amount of cash on hand to take care of this. And they just see this and like, oh yeah, cool, it's all right. Don't worry, we're good. While me thinking of me as a company, I made sure, hey, I had enough cash on hand. So when I did get furloughed, I was like, hey, this is sort of like a vacation for me. While some of my friends had to pray and hope for a stimulus check, me, my wife, and my family was okay. Now, one more thing I want to add to that. All right. If Apple, I like to bring this up as an example. I love using Apple as an example. If Apple only sold iPhones, do you think there'll be a $2 trillion market cap right now if all they sold was iPhone? They didn't have no iPads, they didn't have no iWatch, they didn't have nothing else. All they had was iPhones. Do you think their stock or their company would be as big as it is today? Not even Apple. Let's just say, hey, if Facebook only stick to the social media platform, they didn't go ahead and got Oculus, they didn't go ahead and got WhatsApp, the Messenger app, and tons of other companies that they own, Instagram, would they still be as profitable? Would Facebook be as profitable as they are today? Let's go into Tesla. Yes, I know the stock is going down. That's not what I'm talking about. Tesla has the car, they have the Model S, they have the Model Y, but they don't just sell cars. They have solar panels. They have SpaceX, or is that part of Tesla? I'm not too sure. Any company that you may think of, they diversify their income. Walgreens has pharmacy and they have other stuff that they sell. They sell chips, they sell juices, they sell a whole bunch of stuff in Walgreens. Let's look at the company Foot Locker. They own Champs, they own GOAT, the app called GOAT where people can resell shoes on. They own that. Now, the point of me saying this, listen carefully here. The point of me saying this is right now in this investment world, if you're looking at a company, you want to make sure that they're not a one-trick pony. So how does this relate to you and You Inc. as the company? Yourself being the CEO of You Inc.? Let me tell you how. If you only have one source of income, One source of income. If anything happens to that source of income, you're dead in the waters. If Apple only sold the iPhone, last year, I think they had a weakness in iPhone sales, but they had iPad sales, they had the watch, they had Apple services, they had Apple TV, they had so many services that they had money from that it really didn't matter that they had weak phone sales. So going back to you, if you only have one source of income and you're not diversified, you'll only go ahead and clock in. It doesn't have to even be them laying you off. What if you get injured? And yeah, of course, you got unemployment, but it's still one source. They're not gonna pay you the same amount as if you was physically healthy and there to work. So you always gotta figure out a way to diversify yourself. And Warren Buffett said, if you don't make money, if you don't figure out a way to make money while you sleep, then you will end up working until you die. So let me just wrap this up in a nice bow for you. What have we learned? We learned that, hey, you have to think of yourself in a different way. Of course, budget is key. Yes, you want to make sure that you have an emergency fund saved up, but it's all up here. View yourself as a company, know what you did within the past 3 months and project what you're going to do within the next 3 months, and don't just focus on one source of income. Diversify your income. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I want to know what you guys think. Comment down below. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It's highly appreciated. And also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also check out some of my other content. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a beautiful day.